Welcome to Momentum Monday. Today is February 23rd, 2025. It's also the first birthday of my son.
Hey. Any paternity suits? Elon has 13 paternity suits. What about you?
I mean,
Are you gonna have 13 kids with 13 different
no,
women? Come on,
he can afford it. I can barely afford one. So
all
that's
right.
enough. Yeah.
Well, no one's gonna afford it if we have another week like 10 more weeks like last week. We'll all be poor.
Yeah. I mean, anything's possible. Definitely, we're seeing more distribution days lately. I mean, especially Friday, and not only Friday, but just last week, we saw quite a few of the momentum leaders. They were holding well, and they had earnings breakouts, just having significant pullbacks. And before that was preceded by weakness in tech mega caps. Before that,
Yeah, I
that's
mean, Google looked the strongest and then now it looks the weakest.
yeah, all of them, other than Meta. And now even Meta is all of them sold off after earnings. Google, Amazon, Tesla, Microsoft. Um, Only Meta was holding well, and now they're also in a pullback mode. I wouldn't be surprised if they test their 50-day moving average near 650.
Yeah.
Apple is holding better than the rest.
Because Apple, it didn't move as much and we recovered, it kind of was in a pullback sooner and AI wars are playing out really to help them, because Microsoft last week, Satya spent the week kind of backtracking on OpenAI, right? Because between Grok and Perplexity and Gemini, which owns a lot of proprietary data. Each of those, well, not Perplexity, but Gemini and Tesla do XAI, I mean Grok.
Rough, yeah.
So, you know, the question is, will Microsoft keep investing?
Don't
Um,
they own LinkedIn or something?
yeah, they own LinkedIn, but that's not the same. It's not kind of real-time data. It's definitely unique data, but they own it. But are they going to just give it to OpenAI? Is that enough? So there's just a lot of kind of come to Jesus. But and then Nvidia's this week. So all
Yeah,
eyes will be on Nvidia.
yeah. Nvidia. Let's see how the market reacts. And
Um, it'll probably be a great quarter. The question is the
yeah,
price? And then if we look at the high flyers, the high flyers have been App, Love and Hymns, Palantir, and they all kind of pulled back.
well, Hood as well. I said all the
But
momentum
as
stocks,
well,
they were holding well. I mean, they had a significant pullback last week, which happens when you see a risk off in the market. And as we said, it all begins with mega caps, and um, 17% of US stocks are owned by foreigners.
by
Yeah.
what?
17% of US stocks are owned by foreigners. So I would
Hmm.
assume that the vast majority of those 17% is big mega cap tech.
Yeah.
And we're seeing that weakness in them. There might be some selling going on there, for political, for tariff, trade war reasons.
Yeah.
Then something like this might be going on. But either way, definitely I mean the market has been in a choppy range
Yeah.
for the past couple of months, let's call it. And distribution days are rising, and we can see either a proper correction, 7-10% correction, or we can just continue to chop and continue to see every little dip getting bought, because every single momentum leader has been under pressure. Like for
Yeah.
example,
Yeah.
Taser.
I'm wrong. Axon reports.
The
I
Taser
was
is down like
talking,
what,
I was talking to
40%.
some friends at the company. There was an analyst downgrade. There was the Palantir slash defense budget cuts.
Yeah,
Um, even Cloudflare pulled back NET.
yeah.
So,
All
you
the
know,
momentum stocks. Yeah.
the get used to this. Also, you got to remember Trump's president. If you look back at 2016 to 20, it's just, on the volume of tweets and him and Elon and just, you know, tweeting their way to like news. And if you want to be at your desk all day, it's a great environment for people that are willing to put in the time. But man, it's very hard with these two guys kind of pushing around stocks and news and media to just, anything can happen. And you don't know who's trading off the information, right? Like who knew that tweet was coming, right? You always have to assume now that there's just people making fortunes.
Yeah, probably.
So,
I mean, interestingly, Chinese stocks have been the leaders here to
yeah,
date, even though I still think there is a lot of headline risk there. You can wake up one morning with a huge gap down, but
I mean, we've been talking about Baba for a while.
it
So
doesn't mean that you cannot speculate with some options when you
yeah,
know
I wouldn't
how much the
chase
risk is.
this. I definitely
Uh,
wouldn't chase this, but it's been a hell of a run, pretty much a double off the bottom.
yeah.
Um,
And
so
it's
it's,
not just that. I mean, they have like stocks like GDS, like more than double, stocks like
what is
KC.
that?
GDS, I think that's related to data centers, like operator of 10 data
Like,
centers.
kudos
So
to the people building those lists and following. Like, the big story still is BYD, right? And Tesla. BYD is just continues to go up, which is Tesla, which is China's cheap e-car. And if you overlay that on the Tesla chart, no, not BYD, BYD, yep. And so if you look at that versus Tesla, what is this, a 40 bagger?
46 billion. I mean, they're much smaller than Tesla.
No, 137. Oh,
That's what it says here, 46. I don't know if it's
okay.
true.
It might be one, but
Oh,
you look at
actually,
Tesla,
yeah. Actually, you're right. 147. Yeah, yeah. Sorry. I don't know
yeah, it's
why it
not
says
small.
46.
But versus Tesla, which is, down 25% from all-time highs.
Tesla is $1 trillion company.
You know. So they ain't gonna win in China, Tesla, and they're not gonna win in Germany, and they're not gonna win in France. And they may not even win in the USA. It's pissed off so many people. So um, he's got other stuff up his sleeve though. So it's like not a
Yeah.
stock
I mean,
short,
now
but
people are talking about humanoids, and he's basically trying to change the narrative and say, we're not just an EV company, we're a
I'm
robot
trying to think
company.
what else is like kind of steady and working. Are financials working?
Financials, they also actually took a dive. I mean, nothing serious, but definitely got hit towards the end of the week.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, we saw move into defensive stocks like, healthcare when you typically see that. But, uh, for the most part, I think, last week was a correction week for most stocks, distribution week for most stocks. And we'll see if it continues. And as I said, quite a few stocks, my personal opinion is that, they're looking vulnerable, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see further downside in the near term. But then again, we've been living in a market where almost every single bad news has been ignored, and almost every single 4 or 5% dip has been bought.
Yeah, the power of the 200-day moving average though, when we're spent, especially with the
Google is almost there, by the way.
especially
Google is
yeah, but it never extended that far, right? But you're seeing, from the HIMs to the NVIDIAs to the Palantirs to the Robinhoods, the extension from the 200-day moving average was bananas.
significant. Yeah, typically when
Yeah.
you see more than 100%,
Yeah, I just don't know what people were doing. We're still in a Super Bowl market, but there's a lot of fluff out there. Palantir could drop to 60 and it'd be in a massive uptrend still.
yeah,
So I
definitely.
just,
Basically to 50. Yeah,
I think people need to ask themselves, what they would do. You're still in a massive bull market, but there's still so much air in it.
I mean,
And
even in a bull market, you can have 7 to 10% corrections for the indices. And when the indices correct 7 to 10%, high momentum stocks correct 30, 40%.
yeah. But it was like, for example, Axon earnings are this Tuesday. The stock's down 35% quickly. But again, like look how far away it was from the 200-day moving average, but it's quickly there.
Yeah.
You know, people were bitching about
And
having an entry
historically,
point.
that has been a good entry, and it was the same with Meli, Mercado Libre. Like typically, every time when you chase a breakout,
Yeah,
you lose money. But if you buy near the, the rising 200-day,
yeah,
you end up making money. It's been an ongoing trend since,
yeah.
2022.
Yeah, so be careful this week, people. I mean, I think that's it.
Okay, Howard.
I don't have any great ideas. Just kind of just be careful of your entries.
All right. See you
All
next
right,
week.
everybody, have a great week.